All right guys, it's gonna freeze tonight. It's getting down to 28 degrees and I wanna propagate this angel trumpet and I'm gonna show you how I do it. So I hope you enjoy the video. Little old lady down the street about 2 years ago gave us a little angel trumpet cutting in a pot. And she said, "Here, take this." I really didn't ask for the angel trumpet. My mom was raised angel trumpet, and it really didn't grab my attention. So we went ahead and put it in the ground anyway because the sweet little lady gave it to us. We put it right here on the corner of our house. It gets sun most of the day. And this year when we walked by it, I was like, what is that smell? That's awesome smell. And I come over here closer and closer, and I found out it was the angel trumpet. And I was just blown away that angel trumpet smelled so good. And so I was at a campsite and I was telling a fellow camping lady, Miss Donna Irwin, about how good this angel trumpet smelled, and what we had was an orange, and it's beautiful. And she goes, "Well, I have a pink." And I was like, "You have pink? Can I get a cutting of the pink?" So the next time we had a camping meetup, she brought me a cutting in a pink. I'm going to show you that cutting in just a minute. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and take a look at this angel trumpet. Just in 1 year, right out of the pot, look at all this growth. I got this big stem right here. I'm gonna take a cutting. I'm gonna show you the size of the stem. It's really unbelievable how much these things grow in a year. But we got that freeze coming tonight. I'm gonna lose this whole bush. It's gonna go all the way back down to the ground. I've got some pots. I'm propagating some figs. And if you haven't seen my video for propagating figs, I'd encourage you to look that one up and go watch that. We're gonna be doing about the same type of method, propagating this and the figs. So the first one that we come to over here, let me reach down and take it at the bottom. Nice big thick round cutting. Look at that. That's a nice cutting. Now each one of these nodes where there was a leaf is the potential for a stem to grow, and you can see right here they got little stems that are trying to grow. So we're just going to come in here. I expect about 6 inches of this to be in the dirt. We're going to come up a few joints and we're just going to take a cutting. Should have got bigger scissors for this, or bigger pruners for this. We're going to come up. We're going to make these about 10 to 12 inch cuttings. That's a nice cutting. That's a nice cutting. Look at all those leaf nodes already. I should be shooting, we're going to bury this all the way up to here and leave about 2 nodes so that we can get some good growth out of that. We're going to take all this lower growth off. I'm excited about this angel trumpet. I can't wait to see how it does, because I know that when Miss Donna brought me her cutting in a little orange juice bottle, and it was just only a few weeks later, I was like, wow, that thing really put on a lot of growth, being that it was only a couple of weeks in that water. And I'm gonna do some different size cuttings here. Go ahead and take all these big leaves off. You don't want those leaves on the cutting while you're trying to root it, because you lose a lot of moisture coming up through the plant. This thing will be in soil, it'll be in water, and it won't be able to support the evaporation that comes out of these large leaves. So we're going to go ahead and take those things off. We're going to lose all these blooms. We don't want it trying to set blooms and flower. That one's getting ready to open up. And by the way, no matter what color you have, they always pre-bloom yellow. And then if you have a red, it'll bloom out red. If you have a pink, it'll bloom pink. So if you have a white, it'll bloom white. But it always opens up partially as a yellow. So I thought that was kind of neat. We're going to go ahead and stop right there. We get up into this really tender growth. It'll go limp on you, and it's really not conducive to try to make cuttings out of. If you put that into a cloner where you have water mist, you may be able to support some of that real tender stuff, but we're not going to try it. some real nice cuttings out of that. Take that cutting about right there. That's really tender. We're going to see how well that roots. I'm not sure what that's going to do, but this is going to be a big experiment. We're going to see how these things do. So that's 5 cuttings out of that one stem. Let's take a few more. We're going to lose this plant anyway. I tell you what, I want to grab this big one. It's real gigantic, and I'm going to go grab my loppers for that thing. It's huge. I don't think these will cut it. Look how big that cutting is. That thing is huge. Look at that. I sure hope this grows. Prop that up there. Let's make this one at least a foot long. I don't know what we're going to do with a cutting that big. That's absolutely huge. All right guys, I got plenty of cuttings to set. We're gonna go pop these in soil and we're gonna bring you along, so stay with us. All right guys, we're in here in the Florida room. We've got our orange angel trumpet cuttings that we just took. I've got a container that I'm gonna pot it up in using some potting soil, doing one method there. We have these little bags of potting soil here. This is a completely different method. It's new to me. I'm using it to do my fig cuttings, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing it here using the bags. Now when Miss Donna brought me this pink angel trumpet to our campgrounds, she had it in this simply orange container full of water, and it was laced out with roots, and you can see those roots all the way up the stem where she had water there. And so when I brought it home, I put it over into this little container of potting soil, put it in the shade, kept it wet, and it's been in there for probably 3 weeks now. And I just kind of eased it out of the container to look, and there's roots all the way to the edge of the container. So this thing is really, it never wilted or anything. It's done really well. I'm excited to see how this pink turns out. We're gonna put that one over to the side. Now, I've got a big cutting here, and then I've got a little smaller cutting. This bigger cutting, I'm going to put into this water container for one method of rooting. And it's just the way I received it from Miss Donna. I'm going to come in here and take those lower shoots off. We don't want shoots under the water. That's not going to do any good. I got an eye right there that may continue to grow. And then I've got an eye right here, shoots, and that may continue to grow. Now these lower ones, I'm going to take that little loose leaf off of there. But anything that's going to be down in the water, we're just going to rub those little eyes off. We're going to stick it in there, and we're going to wait for this thing to set growth. And in a few weeks, once it starts setting growth, we're going to pot that to a container of potting soil also. We're just going to set that one right off to the side, but before we do, we're going to label it so that whoever ends up with this plant knows what it is. Actually, this label is way too small for that big old cutting. So what we'll do, we'll just take our black marker and we'll just write on here, orange. That way we'll know what color that is, and we'll label that properly when we up pot that. Set that off to the side. Now our other method of potting it is if you just get some moist potting soil straight out of the bag, wet it if it's a little bit dehydrated, but usually the moisture content that it comes with is enough for cuttings. And we're just going to take one of these cuttings here. We've got some leaf growth. Now when you dispose of these leaves, don't put them in your anywhere that animals can get a hold of this, because this is poisonous to animals and humans, so you don't want your pets getting into that or any livestock. We'll leave 2 buds right there in the top. We're not going to put any rooting hormone. Generally, when I'm doing my cuttings, I use a rooting hormone to help with the rooting, but my understanding is angel trumpets, you can just stick these right into the ground if you got good temperatures, and they'll start setting root. And so we're just going to see how well that does. We're just going to put that thing right into the potting soil there. Careful not to disturb our root buds. And we're going to just give it a little bit of water and just keep that on the heat mat. And I'll show you our heat mat in just a second. Now, this other method, I'm going to use our smaller cuttings on it. Make sure you got the cutting going the right direction. You don't want to put it in there upside down. If you look, there are little buds that are showing at each little leaf node. And each one of those little buds has the potential to turn into a shoot. We're just gonna take that little bottom bud off right there. Put that right down into our bag of moist potting soil. We're gonna keep it about 1 inch off the bottom. We don't want it all the way to the bottom. Once we start putting water in here to feed these shoots, we don't want the bottom of our cutting sitting in any kind of water. So we're going to keep it just off the bottom, just a little bit. Just kind of tamp that down. Then we're going to take our bag and we're going to kind of twist it up, grab a rubber band, go around the bag, and we're going to lock that humidity in there so that this doesn't evaporate out while it's trying to set roots. So that's all it is to it, guys. Now that has a really good chance of setting roots and becoming its own little plant. And I labeled the bag orange angel trumpet, and I put the date on there that I started that cutting. I'm gonna take this young tender cutting here. We're gonna put this one down in the bag and just rub those little leaf nodes off. Take those extra little stems off there. And we're just trying to leave 2 or 3 at the top. We're not trying to grow all these nodes. We only need 1 good node. But if you have 2, maybe 3, that's all you really want to shoot for. More than that, you need good root set to support any top growth. So the key here is you want roots before shoots. And if you look, this thing is full of little bumps. See all those little bumps up and down the skin? Those are undifferentiated cells, and they have the potential of growing roots out of those. Grab our other little bag, it's already labeled. Put that right down into the potting soil. Twist. Put a little rubber band. You can use a bread tie if you don't have a rubber band nearby. Just anything to keep that moisture in place. Now, once this thing starts growing, you want to take it out of this bag, and you don't want this rubber band to girdle any kind of growth. I imagine in about 4 to 6 weeks, this will be ready to up pot. Now, if you notice this is starting to wilt and it's not getting enough moisture, open that up. Put your little 1/2 ounce of water in there. All you're really shooting for is 100% humidity, and you can tell when the bag starts condensating on the inside of the bag, between the little air pockets and the potting soil, you'll see condensation starting to build in there. So that's how you know you have 100% humidity. Once it starts getting dry, all your moisture is going to transpirate from this cutting out through the leaves, and you're going to have to go in there and add moisture. You don't want that to dry out. Now that we have these ready to go, I'm going to show you what we do with them next. All right, guys, first of all, I want to apologize for breaking into this. I know there's bad lighting right now, but 2 days later, since this last little clip you were just watching, I contacted Eric over in Orange Park, Florida, and he had double pink, double orange, and double peach. And he went right out when I was texting him around noontime, took those cuttings, went down to the post office, put them in the mail. On Wednesday, I get them at my house. Incredible how fast that shipping was. But look at here, guys. I got 3 good cuttings of orange doubles. And I've got 3 good cuttings of peach. Nice long cuttings. Look at that. Those are nice. And then I've got 3 good cuttings of pink. Now he said that the names were these were Pink Perfection and Salmon Perfection are the 2 colors. The peach he didn't know the name of. So I'm so excited to have these cuttings, and I can't wait to get them in pots. I have these big pots, and we're planning on putting our mulberry and our apple plants in these. That's why I got these big ones. And I was like, well, I've got extras. I'll just pot up the angel's trumpet in these. But then I got to putting potting soil in here. I've got a bulk load of potting soil coming that I'm got to go get with my trailer. And I didn't want to buy the bag soil and fill up these big 4-inch by 9-inch containers with potting soil. So we're going to go to the Dixie cup instead. I got these clear ones here. The reason I got clear is so I can see the roots. Now I can put this clear one inside of a red one to make it dark in there, so I don't turn those roots. And then when I'm on to check for roots, I'll just pull this one out of the red, check it, put it back. That's how that works. Bottom of the cups, I just took my scissors and I just nipped off the ends to make sure I got good drainage. So what we're going to do this with the peach real quick. We're not going to do anything special to it. Just going to put that right down in the soil like that. I'm going to give it a good drink of water. We're going to let that settle in. I'm going to put it on bottom heat on my heat mat. And then we're going to try to get the roots to set on this. And hopefully in 3 to 6 weeks we'll have some roots. But I just wanted to show you guys that. I was so excited to get those cuttings in the mail. And I couldn't wait to come out here, put them in pots and get those things rooted. And just so excited. And I've got seeds coming, guys. I'm going to be germinating angel trumpet seeds. And I went on the website, and I can't remember the name of the website. But if you become a member, then you're allowed to pick out a package of 3 seeds each quarter. Every 3 months, you're allowed to select 3 packages of seeds. So I've picked them out. I've got them coming. We're going to give you an update of what I chose. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the rest of the video. Thanks for watching. All right, we're over here at our propagation table. I've got a 1-inch styrofoam down onto the table here. And then on top of that styrofoam, I have a heat mat. I got this heat mat off of Amazon. It's 20 inches wide, 48 inches long all the way. At the end of it is a thermostat, and I have the heat mat set about 75 degrees. You want to maintain about 75 degrees. I've got my container on top of this heat mat, and right down in there, I don't know if you can see it or not, those are all my fig cuttings. I've got different, each one of these is a different variety of fig. I never knew there were so many varieties of figs, guys. If you like figs, if you've never tasted a fig, try rooting a fig. Growing a fig out, tasting a collector variety of fig is mind-blowing. These things are seriously good. Give figs a shot. But anyway, I got my container on here. I got my little fig pops in the bags, and they're trying to set roots. They've been in here for about 2 weeks, so I'm starting to look for roots on these things anytime now. So what I'll do is I'll take these cuttings that we just did of the angel trumpet, and I'll put it right in here. That heat on that heat mat will come up and these root zones about 75 degrees. The temperature in here right now is 67 degrees in here right now. So we want our roots 10 degrees warmer Then we want our shoots for optimum root growth before shoot growth. Angel Trumpet's so easy, you don't even really have to worry about those numbers. Just 75 degrees and some moist soil, that's all it takes. And then I got my other cutting over here sitting on the heat mat by itself. And I'll let that sit right there, and we're gonna see how these do. I just did these cuttings of some Chicago hardy figs. I've got those in there. Once those start setting root and start getting a little growth on them, I'll set them up and we'll put them over in the containers. All right guys, that's all it is to rooting Angel Trumpet. I hope you enjoyed this short little video. Like and subscribe. Subscribe to our channel if you like the content that we're putting out here, and follow us along as we're doing more stuff. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned.